How does fear show up in your world?
The news focuses on just fear-mongering people and negativity. It's very rare that it's all positive. When people are fearful, people can usually sell them on other things like, oh, if this happens, you could have your credit stolen. Well, look, here, I have a program for you to watch your credit report. They have something that can solve your problem for a monetary amount of money. Fear and money and power. Imagine if the news was all more about positivity. I don't think people would watch.
I'm Brenda Sue, and I've been a hairdresser for years, which means I hear a lot of stories. In this podcast, my clients explore a single word in each episode, not the dictionary meaning, but what the word actually means to them. Real voices, real stories, one word at a time. Welcome to Clips and Conversation. Last week we talked about control, and underneath there's often something deeper. Fear is this shadow word that hides behind our decisions, disguising itself as caution or responsibility. Sometimes it even whispers to us in silence. What is fear? Is it a signal? A liar? A teacher? Maybe it's all the above. Our guest word today? Fear. I grew up with a lot of rules, some from my parents, some from church. And I know my mom and dad were trying to protect me, keep me safe, teach me good things. But somewhere in all that, I didn't just hear guidance. I heard fear. And rules can keep you safe, yes, but they can also keep you small. For me, fear didn't just make me follow the rules. It made me afraid to find my own way. And it took me a long time to realize how much of my life was being shaped by fear instead of by choice. And honestly, I still see it show up. Even with this podcast, putting my voice out here, sharing what I really think, there's fear in that. Fear has a voice, and today we're going to hear what it sounds like in all of us.
So when you hear the word fear, what do you think of?
Being too scared to do something or not wanting to lose something.
Fear just seems to be a core emotion to me, and it seems to be a component of just about every other emotion that you're feeling on the negative side. There's some aspect of fear combined with it.
Well, when I think of the word fear, I think of threat to my well-being or the well-being of those that I love.
Everyone always asks that question, like, what's your greatest fear? Mm-hmm. Or it's like that always shows up in like movies or TV. I think it's used to give the character like depth, to show that they've overcome their fears or something that was holding them back. A lot of things can be traced back to like classical conditioning. But fear is like one trial learning. So you only need one bad experience to like have a fearful reaction the next time you run into that experience.
Such a core emotion. My fears are a fear of being by myself, a fear of falling, getting in an accident. Things that I have no control over, but I'm afraid of them. Mm-hmm. Totally afraid of them. Fear to me, in a lot of ways, is something that you can't control. My fears, I can't control them. I can't control whether or not somebody dies. I can't control whether or not there's an accident. I can't control falling. If I'm going to fall, I'm going to fall. Right? That's a fear.
On the surface, fear can sound like danger, but for many of us, it gets a lot more personal. And it doesn't look the same for any of us.
When I think of fear, I think of the future, because I don't want to be in fear of my future, because then I get stressed in the moment and I want to enjoy the moment. So when I think fear, I think gratitude, because you can't be in fear and gratitude at the same time. So I guess I avoid fear because I don't want to feel it. I don't like it. It feels scary. Yeah. And then I go to my gratitude list, like, what am I grateful for? Because then that'll pull me out of fear, because I don't think fear is healthy for us. But maybe it is.
Fear shows up for me with aging process and worrying about being healthy as I age, watching how my parents struggled with that. I'm a position in my life right now. I've got a pretty good grip on where I am and where I'm going, and financially I'm secure in my relationships, and I don't fear much else other than being healthy.
I just thinking about my sister who's allowed fear to drive her. So instead of being scared, driving her car to the big city, stayed home, let her husband do it, and now she's terrified to drive. This little teeny world that she's created for herself. And then the fear drove her. Controlled her. Yeah. And then I see the opposite in my daughter, who she's such a homebody, and here she is living in another state, going to school. And when she comes home, she doesn't want to go back. And she's just seeing how good it can be to fight the fear.
It shows up for me in where the country's going with human rights and women's rights. There are women's rights to choose, people's basic human rights, the Constitution, and if it's going to survive this administration.
It's the unknown.
A fear of abandonment. And it doesn't have to be a physical abandonment, but an emotional abandonment. I'm in the phase of the empty nester. Children are all doing wonderful, starting their own lives. But then I started realizing that people weren't coming home. And it's severely painful. But they don't come home, hardly ever.
Well, the question always comes up, were you afraid? Well, yeah, 24/7. I mean, you were over there to kill or be killed. In Vietnam, when you're an infantryman, you are the target, and you know that. The interview that went to the Library of Congress, they asked, were you afraid? And I was functionally afraid.
Mm-hmm.
Fear was just something you just lived with.
So you had to get comfortable with that.
You just had to tolerate it. And then, of course, that corresponds on to being a firefighter, and you're going into a place that everybody else is running out of. And there's fear there, but I mean, you do what you have to do.
It makes me think of a lot of other words. Being scared, being nervous, uncertainty. We have left the church, and I would say fear to leave because it was my world. It's how I grew up. As I figured out that I didn't believe in what those teachings were anymore, I wasn't ready for a long, long time to make that step to come out and tell people, show people by the way I dressed. I think I just got to the point where I just felt so burdened.
So it was like a relief.
Such a relief. Then you're like, not that you don't care, but it's not as important to you. It's more important to be true to yourself.
Yes.
Rather than what others think. I wasn't one growing up to question things. It felt good to think for myself for once. And I think that helped for sure to overcome that fear.
I think for most people, including me, fear is the unknown of death. And so faith actually helps you counter those fears. Some people, life doesn't have a real value, so it doesn't matter to them. Depends upon if you love life, you don't want to leave it.
Yes. And your relationships.
Yeah, that's right. And so we just don't know. That's the kind of fear, for me anyway. I mean, I'm a pretty strong person as far as activities that most people think are fearful. Mm-hmm. Fearful meaning are dangerous. And so I kind of edge on the side of excitement.
Yes.
Flying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're a pilot.
Yeah, and so that never has scared me.
Fear is an indicator of past lives. Things that you fear that don't make any sense to you. For example, Garrett, so afraid of sharks, but then he's never been bitten by a shark, or I don't think he's ever
or even drowned.
Yeah, so he just has this big thing about fear.
Fear shows up in so many places, but it's not just what we're afraid of. It's what fear can teach us too.
All fear is a form of losing something. I don't want to lose anything.
Yeah.
It is unknown. Now, one of my tools with fear or those emotions is, where is this coming from? And be curious on it.
Mm-hmm.
Be curious about it, and that kind of minimizes a sense of panic. For instance, I'm having fear of child loss right now because June is my grief month.
It is.
I already feel sensitive. I already feel grief coming up. I feel sadness coming up. Instead of me freaking out, I'm getting curious. Why am I feeling this way? Oh, it's because my mom died in June. So I'm scared of losing people I love. And then I'm able to kind of be like, okay, I can move on from that.
So you're moving through fear instead of around it.
Yeah.
That's very...
I realize I just avoid things. It's just too much for me. I just worry she's so impulsive that she's going to do stupid things, and I fear for, loss. Like, are you going to drive crazy? Are you going to do something you're not supposed to do because you're like so impulsive?
So what do you do when that comes up? Yeah.
My youngest is the same way, and it drives my fear.
You guys fear lack of control.
Yeah. I think she might fear me a little, which is the problem because it's a communication issue. And then I fear and I lash out really quickly and I don't think things through. And because I'm like scared because my brother committed suicide. So then you don't, and she has been suicidal before. So then I fear, like, am I pushing too much? Do I talk? You know what I mean? Like there's this line because you fear of losing your kid. It's like, how do you deal with that?
See, and I'm like, they just have to love.
Well, I had panic attacks, and that's uncontrollable fear. And the only way I could get around those was to get out of my own head.
So how did you do that?
I specifically try to serve someone. Sometimes fear comes from not being in control.
Do you think fear is behind the control?
You know what? It really is.
I feel like a lot of choices and decisions that people make in life are based on fear. When we're afraid of something, or inhibit the decisions we make. Fear is something that we all face every single day, and it's our fear of failure a lot of the times. Is there real true failure?
I don't think so.
Fear is a restriction. I think it's more of a spiritual wall, essentially, that we set for ourselves. It confines us to what we can't achieve for ourselves. Fear, it makes me think of childhood wounds, because a lot of what happens as a child, if you never go back and work on healing it or seeing it or understanding, it will continue to crop up through your life. Well, and you don't even realize it because your body goes into an automatic fight or flight. So until you can consciously recognize that and create different patterns and behaviors, there's no control over it. So I'm learning to pause when a trigger happens.
I'm not very fearful. I feel pretty safe because I live in a bubble. I don't enjoy the outside world a lot. Politics, social media, the news, it's all depressing. So I just in my own little world. I don't feel like I can do anything about it. And it's really,
How do you hear what's going on in the world?
I guess it's really naive of me, very naive of me, but I don't care because I think it's all a bunch of BS.
Maybe fear never completely leaves. Maybe the people who grow aren't the ones who get rid of fear. They're the ones who learn how to carry it and keep moving.
Fear is really good, and it keeps us safe. It keeps us contemplative. It propels us to make hard decisions.
At least think twice about it.
Yeah. And I think we're so afraid of being afraid. If we're taught that it's okay to be afraid, then we try. We try and we grow and it's okay. But when you always have to be perfect, then you never want to try new things. But having a fear fitting in isn't actually helpful because we don't want everybody to fit in. We want differences.
It's based off of people's experiences. They're triggered by different events, whether it be strong winds that are rattling the windows or earthquakes, triggers different emotions of different people. It's all about perspective.
It's not one way.
No, it's all about perspective.
Fear is something that stops me from growing. I also see it as sometimes it's there for our safety too. Mm-hmm. So it has a kind of positive connotation.
Fear is an intense emotion initially, and then after we experience the emotion, we have this cognitive thought process about what we just experienced. We let the fear and the emotions kind of overcome our reasoning power, and we can let fear start to dictate our choices. And I think that's where counseling and talking to other people can be helpful as you confront your fear and think about it in a more rational way instead of an emotional way. Fear can rob you of experience in life for sure, but at the same time, it can prolong your life too. So it's just this, as with all things, it seems like it's got to be in balance.
It
don't know if it's a fear or just not feeling very confident in myself sometimes. Because I have clients, and every time I go to meet with a client with a new, I always get that little bit of anxiety.
Butterflies.
Yeah, because you're always like, are they going to like it? And I don't know why, after 30 years, I still get that little bit of anxiety before I go into a meeting. And if I stop feeling that, have I not put in enough of myself into it? I'm not sure that will, and it's nothing that stops me from doing what I do. In the end, it's always worked out. So, but yeah, some of those fears aren't rational. I mean, anybody else would say, I don't know why that bothers you, but it does.
And everyone has their own.
Exactly. And it's nothing, it keeps me motivated to do a good job and to
another positive thing from it.
Yeah, so there's that motivating aspect. Also getting out of your comfort zone. If you're not doing that and sort of pushing some of those fears and some of those aspects of your life, you're not going to be happy. You've got to keep pushing forward, pushing in the direction you want to go.
I turn to God when I'm fearful because I feel secure in the fact that even though I don't know what's going to happen and how it's going to turn out, He does.
Sometimes we're not afraid of failure so much as we're afraid of our own power and our own ability to achieve greatness. And that sometimes holds us back from accomplishing the things we really could in life, more so than fear of failure.
As you're graduating high school in a couple weeks, do you have fear about the future?
I do not. I think fear is coming out of your comfort zone because I realized this year I started snowboarding and I started getting pretty persistent and good at it. And I realized that comes with a lot of fear because you do stuff that you don't want to do, but then when you do it, you want to do it again because it was fun. Or I think fear is just a mental block of something that you want to overcome.
After listening to all these perspectives, I keep thinking, fear may be universal, but our relationship with it is very personal. Sometimes fear shows us what matters. Sometimes it points to an old wound. Sometimes it's simply trying to keep us safe. What I'm starting to see is fear isn't something we get rid of. It's something we learn to recognize, something we can listen to without letting it make every decision for us. And yet, fear can be uncomfortable to carry, so we look for ways to quiet it, avoid it, to numb it, or escape it. And sometimes what we escape into becomes something else. Addiction. That's where we're headed next week. Thank you for spending time with me. Stay curious, stay open, and keep the conversation going.